I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. Today I've got 2 easy fall dessert recipes to share with you, and I do want to apologize in advance. I am under the weather, so I apologize for my voice, but I wanted to get this video up this week, so bear with me. Now, first up, we're going to make a pumpkin cobbler. I'd never made or had a pumpkin cobbler before, but when I saw this, I knew I wanted to give it a try, so here are the ingredients that we're going to use. I've got flour, sugar, baking powder, brown sugar, some vanilla extract. I have canned pumpkin, and make sure you get the canned pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling. Some oil, salt, and then we need several spices. I've got nutmeg, cinnamon, ground cloves, and then ground ginger. Now, the recipe for this pumpkin cobbler as well as the next recipe will be linked down in the description box below for you, so make sure you check that out for the exact measurements. So I've got my oven preheating to 350 degrees. In this bowl, I'm going to add in my flour, and this is just regular all-purpose flour. Next, I'm going to add in the baking powder. I'm going to add in the salt and then sugar. Now, obviously, I'm using granulated sugar here, so I didn't test any other kinds of sugar, but I'm sure you could use a sugar replacement for this if you'd prefer to do that. Now, we're going to add in the seasonings. So, like I mentioned earlier, that's the cinnamon, the ground cloves, the nutmeg, and the ground ginger. And a quick note on this, so when I thought about doing a fall desserts video, I knew I wanted to do something pumpkin, right? Because a lot of people turn to pumpkin, but I also love apple desserts, and apples are, absolutely in season and at their peak during fall. So I hope you enjoy both of these recipes. They were both really good. So I gave the dry ingredients a good mix. I'm next going to add in the canned pumpkin. And one other quick note here, this, if you're making this for like Thanksgiving or a holiday get together, you may want to double this recipe. This made like a 9x9 for me. Now I'm going to add in the oil as well as the vanilla extract. You want to give that a mix. And the recipe did say that this would be a really thick batter at this point. So we're going to take that mixture and spread it into a greased casserole dish. Now, the recipe called for, I think, an 8-inch. I only had a 9x9. I would have liked to have this in a little bit smaller dish so that the pumpkin layer was a little bit thicker. That's just complete personal preference. So once I've spread that batter out, we're going to work on the topping. And real quick before I show you that topping, quick note, and sorry, my head is all fuzzy with all this stuffiness, but I forgot to mention the recipe called for melted butter, but I was actually out of butter, and so that's why I used the cooking oil. So in this little bowl here, we're going to add in the brown sugar as well as the cinnamon. The recipe called for pecans. I didn't have any. I would have loved to have had that, though. I think that would have been really good in this, giving it some texture. So we're going to sprinkle that brown sugar, cinnamon, and pecans, if you have it, that mixture over the thickened batter, and then we're going to take some really, really hot water. I just took tap water and popped it in the microwave for like a minute and a half or 2 minutes. You're going to pour that hot water over the cobbler. Don't mix it up. Just pour it over, and then you're going to put this into the preheated oven. Remember, it was set at 350 degrees, and you're going to bake this for about 35 to 40 minutes until it's set in the middle. This is what it looked like when it came out of the oven. I did let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes or so, and then to serve this up, I have some vanilla ice cream, and then I actually had this pumpkin spice flavored whipped topping. I'd found this at Target. I just had it in the fridge and I was like, ooh, that sounds good with the pumpkin cobbler. So we had a little bit of the pumpkin cobbler with that vanilla ice cream and the pumpkin spice whipped topping, and this was delicious. It was, I'm obviously from the South and have had many different kinds of cobbler in my day, but this was my first time having a pumpkin cobbler, and I really liked it. Like I said, I definitely wanted the either pecans or walnuts for the texture, for the crunch, but it was still really good as is. Next up, we're going to do a super, super easy apple strudel. Here are the ingredients that we're going to use. Not very many, like I said, incredibly easy. We've got some puff pastry, and this was my first time working with puff pastry. I just found it at Walmart, the regular grocery store. And then we're going to use some canned apple pie filling. Now, we're doing an easy apple strudel, so we're taking help from the store. You can absolutely make your own pastry. You can make your own homemade apple pie filling if you so wish to do. Now, we are going to need an egg and a little bit of water for an egg wash. And then I saw a recipe that used turbinado sugar, and I had some on hand and decided I wanted to use it. I would highly recommend the turbinado sugar if you have it or if you can get your hands on it. It gave a really nice texture to the finished strudel. I've got the oven preheating to 400 degrees. Here I have a cookie sheet that I've lined with some parchment paper. I'm going to unroll the puff pastry, and just to make it fit a little bit better, and besides it was only Gary and I did maybe about 3/4 of the sheet, saved the other quarter of it, and I just like baked it up with some cinnamon sugar for little snacks. But you could use the whole one if you're doing this for like Thanksgiving or a holiday dinner or party or something like that. So we're going to lay the puff pastry out, and then in the center we're going to add that apple pie filling, and you want to make sure that you don't get any of the pie filling near the sides. Now, kind of last minute, I decided to do a little sprinkling of cinnamon sugar over the top of that, but you absolutely don't have to do that. You can also add in some raisins to this. I saw several recipes that had that. So once we've got the pie filling, we're going to take, I'm using a pizza cutter, but I actually felt like the pizza cutter didn't cut the pastry well enough for me, so I went back and did it with a paring knife. But basically, you're just going to make little slits in the puff pastry, and you don't want to go all the way through. You just want to stop at the apple pie filling, and then all you're going to do is take one piece of the pastry and kind of wrap it around the apple pie filling, and then kind of press it down, and you just want to keep going, kind of making like a little braided pattern. And a quick note, like I said earlier, you can make your own pastry. You could do like a pie crust homemade, or you could just use crescent rolls if you'd prefer to do that. Just make sure you pinch all the seams together. So once we've got everything braided, I'm going to take that egg and mix it with just a little bit of water, whip it up really nicely, and then we're going to brush that over top, followed by a sprinkling of the turbinado sugar, and then that's it. Like I said, super quick and easy. We're going to pop this into the preheated oven, and you want to bake this for maybe about 25 to 30 minutes, just until the pastry is cooked all the way through, and when it's golden brown. And that will also depend on whether you're using puff pastry or crescent rolls, or like a homemade pie crust. So just keep an eye on it and check it, and yeah, as soon as it's golden brown and that dough is cooked all the way through, you are good to go. Let it cool on the sheet pan for like maybe 5 minutes, and then you can transfer it to a wire rack. And look how pretty this was. And look, guys, it took like no effort at all. It was super quick and easy to put together, and like I said, I think this would be perfect for Thanksgiving, for a holiday get together, to take to a party, and you can eat it cold, room temperature. We ate it warm with some vanilla ice cream, and it was so good. It was delicious. All right, that is it for today's video. I know it was short and sweet. Hopefully you liked it nonetheless, and maybe you'll give one or both of these recipes a try. Hope that you liked the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.